Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have another one of the Viscontis in my collection. It's the old style Visconti box. Let me open this box and I will reveal the pen inside. So it comes in this old style clamshell box that you can see here. It's a slimmer one, so it's not the one with the tray in it. Now, if I open the lid, you will see here the Divina, and this is not the Elegance Blue, but the Typhoon Blue, or Blue Typhoon. And this is a slightly different colour blue than the Elegance, and I'll show you in a little bit why. But let me take the pen out, and I will show you the pen in a little bit more detail. So this is the Typhoon Blue. Now, the Divinas come in a number of different colours. They also come in a number of different sizes. So this is the oversized version of the pen. It's not the midi version. So you have here on the cap finial, you have the Visconti My Pen magnet, which you can swap out. You have the Visconti bridge clip here, which I always find are quite functional, but I know some people don't necessarily think so. Now, the cap here tapers in, or tapers out, I should say, to the midpoint, and then tapers back in again, slightly, to what you think is a cap band, but it's actually a band on the body. And then the body does exactly the same. It tapers out to the center point, and then tapers back in to what is, if I zoom in, you'll see here a captured converter, and this is, if I get it up the right way, pull and turn. So the idea is you pull it out and then you twist to eject the ink. So it is a captured converter, but let me show you this material in a little bit more detail here. So it's very difficult to actually see, but you can see here some areas of the pen are quite dark, and then you get to the point here where you see the chatoyance coming in and the blue starts to open up more. But you can also see here some black sort of typhoon type swirls going on, and that's really why it was called Typhoon Blue, and you can see that here. So there are more, I'd say, of these whirlwind typhoon swirls going on, more so than you would have in the Blue Elegance. You will get some of those going on, but not anywhere near as much, at least in all of the models that I've seen. But you can see here that blue really starts to open up there. Now you'll also notice these twisting rods that are, and also the facets on the pen. So this pen does come faceted, and these rods are silver rods. Now they, I think, really make the pen look a lot nicer, the way that they twist around the body and the cap of the pen. And I think it also helps highlight some of that chatoyance that's going on there as well, and divide it up into dark and light areas. But that is really, really stunning. So these all have silver trims on. Now, if I show you the size of the pen, it is an oversized pen. You can see in the crook of my hand here, that pen is quite long. Now, if I try to post the pen, you can post the cap, but it's a little bit on the long side. Personally, I don't feel the need to do it. I don't find there's, the way I write like this, I don't find there's a lot of back weight to the pen. Now, I wouldn't normally post that cap personally, but I know some people do like posting, so I thought I would show you that there. Now, the nib itself is a 23 carat palladium nib, and I got this in a medium nib. And then you'll see here the plastic feed, and you can see the section there, and then this silver band that is at the base of all of these silver rods. But this size of pen for me is quite nice, and I do like these Divinas. So I have a number of these in my collection, and I find that they are really nice pens. They're the right weight, they're the right size, they're not too thin, although they're a little bit thinner than some pens I have. So let's do a size and weight check, we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll ink the pen up and do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen is about 150 millimeters in length. The cap is about 60 millimeters in length. And then the length to the tip of the nib, we're looking around about 138 millimeters in length. So that is quite a long pen. So let's do a weight check. The full weight of the pen, uninked, we're looking at around 30, just under 38.5 grams. The weight of the cap is just over 16 grams. And the weight of the body, uninked, we're looking at just over 21 grams. So that's quite a nice weight of a pen. So let's do a pen comparison. Left to right we have the Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Swirl, the Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog, the Visconti Divina Elegance in brown, the Visconti Divina Elegance in green, the Visconti Divina Typhoon Blue, the Visconti Divina Desert Spring, we have a Visconti Divina Metropolitan in the stack celluloid, we have the Visconti Corsani 90, the Visconti Corsani Octagonal, and the Visconti Homo Sapiens Florentine Hills. So I'm going to ink this pen up with Diamine Sapphire Blue. So let's unscrew the pen filler. This is a Penida pen filler. So you just loosen the cap here, you put the pen in, push it in as far as you can, twist up that cap, and then when you turn it upside down, if you've done it right, ink should not flow down the pen. And I'm going to twist this captured converter here, and that will ink up the pen. So let's remove the pen and we'll just wipe off the section and the nib, and then we'll push the knob back in again. Now that will not eject ink because it needs to be twisted to eject the ink. So let's do a writing sample. This is the Visconti Divina, and it is the Typhoon Blue, and it is a 23 carat palladium nib, and it is a medium nib. The ink, as you saw, is Diamine Sapphire Blue, and it's a lovely blue, very bright, vibrant blue. So it's a blue that I do like a lot. It has a much higher dye content in it, so you do have to be careful with staining some pens, especially demonstrators, but it's a lovely colour ink. So in terms of line width or line variance, this is a medium nib. Now I can push it a little bit more because it's a palladium nib, and maybe push it almost to a broad, and then you can see here if I apply more downwards pressure on the figure of 8, you can get a little bit of line variation, but bear in mind that these are palladium nibs. They're not really meant to be pushed, they're not flex nibs. So I don't normally flex when I'm writing. You can see the flex here. Now in terms of wetness, let's have a look. So this nib itself, along with the ink, is not really that wet. Normally I would say on an A5 pad, which is what this is, a fire hose would be at least the midpoint, if not further. You can see here it's drier on the cross strokes, wetter on the downstrokes. Now you're going to get that on a lot of pens because when you're doing the downstrokes you are applying a bit more pressure, opening those tines, and a little bit more ink comes out. So that's quite normal. It still isn't a bad nib though. It's still quite wet. If this is where normally I would say a fire hose nib is, you can see it's halfway towards being a fire hose. So it's quite a wet nib. It's not a dry nib. Now this nib writes very well. I do like these medium 23 cap palladium nibs. These are lovely nibs to write with, and I find that they write exquisitely well. So there you have it. That's my review of the Visconti Divina Typhoon Blu. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.